All right, guys. Today we're going to be reviewing another clip from Charlie Kirk, and here we go.
Who has a disagreement? Anybody? You have a Trump hat on, but yeah, you got a rainbow shirt. How about you? So, yeah, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Billy String
No,
shirt.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But, okay.
I'm giving you a hard time. Thank you, and everyone, please be respectful.
All right, Charlie, I have a question.
You know, that's what you got to love about Charlie. Even the people that were up against him, he'd always try to show respect and have everybody show them the respect that us as Republicans do not receive.
For you. So, as a Christian, how do you justify campaigning for someone who was found civilly liable for sexual abuse?
So, well, first of all, we as conservatives believe that that was like a Moscow show trial. It made no sense. How much about the trial do you know?
I've read some of the witness transcripts.
Yeah. So the main accuser is a woman by the name of
Jean Carroll.
Yeah, exactly. And she said the following: "A rape is sexy." She said that on air, right? She couldn't remember the time, the date, or the year that the incident happened. And even Anderson Cooper said this is not a credible witness that should be taken seriously. But
This is a big deal in our country today, and it blows my mind. I don't know what it is with women nowadays thinking that it's some sort of status or good thing to claim to have had this happen to them. You know, to grape is awful. And when every woman around town says that this is what happened to them, it actually takes away from the victims of actual grape. And it's disgusting to see that these people get some sort of pleasure by lying and saying that it's happened to them, because there's not 99% of women have had this happen, but yet every time you look around on these panels with people talking, every single woman around claims that this has happened.
pretend you're right, because I don't want to get too far into the details, but let's pretend that President Trump was guilty of sexual abuse. Is there any example of somebody in the Bible that was guilty of doing something bad that still was after God's own heart? This is the Bible Belt, but yes, the question is for you.
I'm not sure about that.
Okay, well, David would be the most obvious. So how much do you know about the example of David and Bathsheba? Probably not a lot, right? So David one day woke up and he was in charge of the Israeli army. I believe it was Uriah, if I'm drawing from memory correctly, right? And Uriah was like the head infantry commander. Uriah had a wife, very beautiful, by the name of Bathsheba. Bathsheba woke up one day and was very provocatively showering for all to see. And David lustfully said, "I want that." In fact, not only did he say, did he want that, he then commissioned Uriah to the front lines of a battle to then basically get Uriah killed. Basically saying, I'm going to kill your husband so that I could be with Bathsheba. He does that, he dies, he then weeps terribly, and God even draws him closer to him in this very, very difficult, mysterious story. A second example, of course, would be...
What's so perverse about our society today is he wouldn't send him to the front lines if it was today's time. He would just make the woman cheat. Obviously not make her, but she would cheat on her husband with him. And people don't think that our society is going to crap right now.
Samson. Samson is found in the book of Hebrews in the Hall of Faith. Samson lived such a colorful life that God came to him when he was in a prostitute's bed. But God called Samson for a purpose greater than his and used the jaw of a donkey to go kill, thousands of Philistines. What I'm getting at is we are all sinners that fall short of the glory of God, and God can use imperfect vessels for righteous and good causes, of which I think he used Donald Trump to help save the country. The battle between good and evil seems to...
I couldn't agree with Charlie more there. I mean, Trump is one of, if not maybe the best president that we will ever have. This man has given everything to help the American people, and all the liberals can do is sit here and bash him for stuff that he's done in his personal life, while they can't point out one thing in his policies or while he's been in office that they don't like. Typical liberal stuff.
Angels.
Okay. So you said that. So you think the court case was a witch hunt?
Yes, I think that case was absolutely a witch hunt. And
so were the jurors specifically the ones who found him liable, were they part of that?
Well, so it's very important that this was a civil case, not a
Right.
criminal case. This never reached the threshold where any criminal prosecutor wanted to bring this because they thought the evidence was so shoddy. But yes, the jurors got this wrong because they were all suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. This
Really?
was a New York
People act like this ain't a real thing. Trump derangement syndrome is very real, and you can see it when you go to places like California, New York, um, Minnesota. I mean, look at how crazy they are. No matter what he does, he could say breathe air and they would suffocate trying to not breathe. They just can't stand him as a person again. And there's nothing with his policy that they're actually against, because anything he says they're going to be against, but they don't actually believe these things.
City-based jury, and of
Who
course they were
picked the jury?
they were New York City-based.
Well, yeah, but who picked the jury?
Well,
Trump's lawyer.
Well, no, that's not true. They have input on
No,
the jury
that's how-
selection.
yeah,
but they get 3 strikes. Those strikes were used. The judge was hardly fair. Again, I'm happy to go into all the individual minutes, but let's use reason. Can I be a little provocative on this for a second, guys?
It's crazy this kid thinks that the defendant's lawyer gets to pick every single juror.
Okay. And I'm gonna try to prove you wrong using a little provocation, and I'm gonna be politically incorrect. Is that okay? All right. Trigger warning. Okay. So let me understand this. Here is the world's wealthiest man, one of the world's wealthiest men, worth like $10 billion. He's got a show on the NBC Apprentice. He's literally married to a supermodel. He can have any woman on the world, and I'm supposed to believe at 2 p.m. In a Tiffany's store, he walks in and E. Jean Carroll, who is not exactly a supermodel, and risks his entire fortune, of which there is no accusation for 20 years, but he pops up and runs for the president, and all of a sudden she says, this guy me, even though I can't remember the day, the month, the year, 2 p.m. in a department store at Tiffany's while he was at the height of his career. I'm sorry, that's complete rubbish and political nonsense.
Well,
Yep, just a witch hunt, and in my opinion, you should have 1 year maximum to go and report if a grape has occurred to you. And another thing, 20 years, where's the evidence? How do you collect evidence after 20 years? It's wrong when people say believe all women. That is the dumbest thing they can say. It is complete nonsense. Or when people say you should always believe the victim. No, that has landed many of people in prison for sentences for things that they didn't do.
so there was a law in New York up until 2022, or sorry, before 2022, or during 2022, there was a law passed called the Abuser, I can't remember the name, Protection Act or something like that, and it removed the statute of limitation, which was 1 year for civil cases for abuse. So that's how she was able. That's how she had to wait so long until 2022.
But she did not voice the accusation publicly till he ran for president, which she did in 2017, 2018. Second, the trial itself was financed by Democrat donors. Thirdly, this is such a superfluous conversation. He's president of the United States. He won. We won. The American people saw this and did not care.
Yep, that's all the liberals care about, is trying to besmirch him because we won. Us as Republicans, we did it fairly. We did the right thing, and liberals cannot accept it.